We step into the world of big dreams, big moves, and big money. It's the Big Cheese Miami Recruiting and NIL Report with Manny Navarro. After 40 years, the Big Cheese remains dedicated to serving the finest Italian dinners, pizza, pasta, subs, and salads. All of their pasta is imported from Italy and cooked fresh every day. Visit BigCheeseMiami.com. Now, let's find out who's the Big Cheese the Miami Hurricanes are working on with insider Manny Navarro.
All right. You know, before we start our segment, Skylar Tipton, just so you know, my brother, you're on double secret probation on the show. No. Okay. When I talk about something, make sure you're talking about what I'm talking about. When you change the subject, because so you'll know, Manny, I say that our championship celebrations, which are violence free, are they not?
Yeah, I can't remember of anything bad happening in any of them.
All of them.
Right.
Canes, Marlins, doesn't matter. The Dolphins don't count because it was a completely different world in the 70s. Back then, nobody ever did any of that. All right. So my theory is it's the Cuban community. All of our protests since the 80s, there's no violence. We don't set any fire. We don't turn over anything. We don't destroy other people's properties. We don't do any of that. We bring out the pots and pans.
That's right. The pots and pans make it very joyous. And I got to say that in general, there's not a lot of that kind of stuff in our community, man. We're kind of blessed, right?
Right. But that's where the pots and pans started, in the protest, not in the championships that came out. Mm-hmm. So then I got Skylar Tipton saying, well, Cubans voted for Trump. Well, so what, bro? I didn't vote for him, but who cares? Right. What does that have to do with protesting like decent human beings since the 80s? So Skylar Tipton, my brother, I don't care how loyal you've been, my brother. Okay. Learn to listen and learn to respond to things that are talked about. Okay. Because I don't care about Biden or Trump. I think they're both clowns. Okay. But I'm going to give people credit when it's due. All right, my brother. So either you stay on subject. Okay. So if you're butthurt about something else, don't bring it out and be careful. You'll get called out here. I don't give a shit who you are, bro. I don't care how long you've been on this platform. I don't give a fuck. You will get called out here. Got it? So what you got to do is be a little man about it and admit, oh, I was wrong. I said something that had nothing to do with what you were talking about. My bad. That's what I need to hear. Outside of that, shut the fuck up. Let's go. All right, my brother, how you doing? You doing good?
Doing good, oh. Beautiful summertime. I get to spend a lot of time doing my my off-season research, getting ready for the football season in a couple of weeks. I'm doing those roster breakdowns for every Power 4 team, and let me tell you, man, there's so much turnover in college football now. It's incredible the amount of I mean, you're talking about 50 plus players changing every single year now, where before, right, it used to be 25. You signed 25 guys in your recruiting class, and that's it. Now it's double, sometimes triple that when there's a coaching change. So it's credible the amount of roster turnover. And so I came out with my first top 25 player list, and there were a lot of people who were like, "Who are half these guys?" You know.
Well, we got a big recruiting weekend going now. So talk to me a little bit where the Hurricanes stand right now.
Yeah, look, their top 10 recruiting class, according to 247 Sports. They're number 10, 13 commitments in the class. Very heavy on offensive line. Six offensive linemen committed, including the number one kid in the country out of Missouri. They've got a quarterback in Darian Coleman. They've got 3 guys in the secondary, but there's still some needs for the Canes to be met, particularly on the defensive line. They need some edge rushers. They need some wide receivers. And they've got a couple guys who could be joining the class pretty soon. There's 3 guys I wanted to mention to you, as potentially landing in the class here. Top guy is 4-star tight end Israel Briggs from Visalia, California, Redwood High School. He's announcing his commitment next Tuesday. He was supposed to go to Texas A&M this weekend, canceled that trip, so it's basically LSU or Miami for him. The Hurricanes don't have a tight end left in this yet in this class, but they could potentially sign as many as 2, and I think Israel is probably going to be the first one who they get in the commitment class. Of course, kids can't sign until December. And then 2 other guys to watch that just visited Miami recently and could be joining the class. They're both 3-star recruits. One of them is a linebacker, Justin Edwards from Orlando Edgewater. He's been committed to Rutgers for a while. But he visited last weekend, Coral Gables, and all signs are pointing to him flipping. The last one, Tyron Evans from Cornelius, North Carolina. He's a former Tennessee commitment, decommitted from them 2 days ago, visited Miami June 13. Put the dominoes together of what's going to happen. He's going to probably end up a Hurricane. So those are the 3 guys that could be next to commit in this class.
All right. I like that. All right. And, what I respect, dude, they're building this thing up. And if this kid can play and not turn over the ball and be a pretty good quarterback, man, just make good decisions on Saturdays. And I have no hope for the Dolphins this year. None whatsoever. Okay. But Mario doesn't need to change how he does, like how he carries himself. He's going to be the same guy. He's been the same hard ass. He's been the same tough love guy. He's been the same commitment guy, hard work guy, all that. In Miami Gardens, you got to go from Mr. Lovable to Mr. Tough Guy because people come late to meetings and stuff. That's not what Mario's been about from the get-go,
Right.
His deal is a little different on Saturdays is his problem. It's not culture. He's actually fixed the culture. He's actually eliminated all the idiots. He's actually brought in kids that give a shit about playing football and playing hard and all that because none of his kids quit and they sell out and all that. So it's just a matter of, making the right decisions, being sharp, all those kind of things. So for me, I have a lot more hope for Mario and for the Canes because also fundamentally he plays football the way it's supposed to be played. You got to win at the line of scrimmage. So I have a lot more hope for what could happen with the Canes than I actually do with the Dolphins this year. It's crazy, dude.
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, Miami the Hurricanes have a chance to make the playoffs. I don't think the Dolphins do. And so right now on paper, I would say Clemson is clearly the best team in the ACC. They won the league last year. They got the majority of their guys back. A bunch of guys who are going to be NFL draft picks, first rounders. So to me, Clemson is a step ahead of Miami right now on paper. But you don't know how these transfers are going to work out. You don't know how Carson Beck is going to look with these receivers. Miami had the number 1 offense in the country last year. So Mario's been building this thing the right way. We've talked about a lot on the show between the offensive and defensive line. He's picked up a bunch of studs. He's developing them. Those guys are getting older now. We'll see how they develop here in year 4 under Mario's leadership. But without question, the Hurricanes are a much more entertaining team to talk about than the Dolphins right now.
Oh yeah, dude. Yes. All right. So who are the big names that are coming this weekend?
Yeah, it's not necessarily a bunch of 5 stars. There aren't any 5 stars this weekend, but there are guys that Miami is definitely pushing for. We mentioned edge rusher being a need. Jaquez Wilkes from Alabama. Miami's fighting a couple SEC schools for him. Auburn and Texas A&M. Ashari Charles, he's a kid out of Venice. He's another edge rusher, 4-star edge rusher who Miami is in on. To me, I'd love to see the Hurricanes land one of those 2 guys because you need pass rushers every single year, and right now they haven't landed any yet. Nolan Wilson is a defensive lineman out of Mississippi. He's the highest rated recruit here this weekend. Again, Miami pushing for those guys, but we won't know until basically a few more weeks because that's when the commitments start. Guys start announcing who they're actually signing with. We'll find out. One big name to sort of monitor after this weekend is Javian Mallory. He's the running back out of West Boca Raton, was part of their state championship team. He took a visit to Alabama last week. He's been committed to Miami, but it's very interesting to see what Miami does at running back. It's obviously a very high-profile position, and Mallory committed to the Hurricanes earlier, but SEC schools are prodding, and the Hurricanes have other options. They obviously like Jay Lamar. They like Derek Cooper. Those are two guys that have come by quite a bit. Cooper's one of the most important recruits in South Florida. So it'll be interesting to see what happens if Mallory decommits after this weekend, or he says he's definitely 100% in with the Canes.
All right, Diabell, quarterback recruiting. What's the deal? Because Carson Beck is only here for 1 year, so that's yeah.
Yeah, Diabell is the son of Raja Bell, for the people who don't know, and they had the Elite 11 quarterback competition out in California this past week, and Dia won. He was the MVP. Plays at Plantation American Heritage. Now, Dia's been committed to Texas for a long time. I don't see him flipping on the Longhorns and staying in South Florida. Steve Sarkisian does a tremendous job with quarterbacks. Obviously has Arch Manning there. Dia's been to Texas a bunch of times, so I don't think that's going to change. Miami's quarterback, though, their quarterback commitment, Darren Coleman, was in California for the Elite 11 camp. Didn't win the MVP, obviously, but people who were there told me that he looked phenomenal. Has probably the quickest release of all the quarterbacks in that were there competing, and Darian's just a super athlete. To me, he is another version of Cam Ward. You watch him throw the football, you watch him, just the athleticism, the ability to evade pressure, to look cool and calm in the pocket. Those are skills. He's a new age quarterback, Big O, Darian Coleman is. And to me, he is the future of that position. Miami is very happy with him. He is the quarterback committed in this class.
Is he a son of anybody?
Well, yes, I'm sure his family. I mean,
not
a famous athlete.
Because I know several Coleman athletes, so I'm wondering, is this an
out of the Orlando area? No, he's not.
Is this Derek Coleman's kid? Let's put it that way.
No, it's not. I've seen his parents. It's not Derek Coleman's kid for sure.
All right, no, he's not 6'9", his dad.
He's not. No. And that's the thing with him. He's not very big in terms of height, but the athleticism, the raw ability, he is the future of that quarterback position, and just super talented. I went out and watched him. Was it 2 summers ago when he was only a sophomore? And I was, hyping him up, saying, man, this guy's really good. I think at the time he was looking to go to Oklahoma. Oklahoma dropped the ball with him. Miami pounced, and the rest is history.
All right, good stuff. What do you got going on in the Athletic?
Yeah, I ranked the top 25 players in the ACC. I did my complete league breakdown, man. And so I have a really good grasp, I feel, going into the season. I'm going to start doing some podcasts now, talking about the ACC and the league going forward, because I've done my homework. SEC is next, Big 10 and Big 12 after that. So I do my own assessments every single year. Now that all the transfer portal crap and movement is pretty much over, it's the time for me to dig in and really break these teams down. I think Miami is clearly the second best team on paper in the ACC. I think after them, it's either Louisville or Georgia Tech that are the next best teams. So I'll have plenty of preview stuff here.
No SMU, they lost too much.
SMU lost a lot of guys on both sides of the ball. I think they're a top 5 team in the league, but I think on paper, I look at Louisville and Georgia Tech and say they've got more coming back that was part of their winning. And they were both good teams last year. Georgia Tech, of course, almost beat Georgia in that crazy overtime game. They've got Haynes King back. They picked up some guys in the portal. They lost some guys in the portal too, but I still think there's enough talent there, and Brent Key does a good job with his offensive and defensive line. So I think Georgia Tech is a contender, and so is Louisville. But right now, I think it should be Miami and Clemson in the ACC championship game.
Yeah, and let me tell you something again. Well, to give you for Canes fans out there, to give you positives. To me, everything is trending. I see the Dolphins going backwards now the last couple of years under McDaniel, whereas with Cristobal, I see improvement, because last year he took a step back and he let his offensive coordinator be the offensive coordinator, and he let his quarterback be whatever personality his quarterback is, which I hope he does the same thing with Carson now. Will Carson be the gambler that Cam is? No. But at least let Carson be whoever he is and let the OC call the game the way he needs to call the game. And I didn't see a conservative approach. So to me, that was huge progress on behalf of Cristobal and the team. And then I see what you're doing, loading up the lines. And that's just going to make Carson a terrific quarterback overall. I actually see the Canes trending in the right direction where I don't see the other football team in town trending in the right direction. That's, to me, just to kind of throw. I don't know if you see the same thing with the Canes.
Yeah, to me, this is what Mario was brought in to do, because think about the mediocrity, right? You had all these different head coaches come in here, and they had 3 and 4 year runs where it was like, okay, they look like they're going to get to 10 wins, maybe compete for the ACC championship. Then they had some really bad, disappointing loss. I think the difference with Mario is his talent, that the talent acquisition is much better than I think the previous coaches. And and the transfer portal, like the biggest knock on him was quarterback, right? Like Mario, he's not a good at quarterback. Well, he just had the number 1 pick in the NFL draft, and he's got another guy in Carson Beck who could potentially be a first rounder as well, who was being talked about as the best quarterback a year ago when he was at Georgia. So to me, you've addressed the elephant in the room, which was the quarterback position. And I think there's consistency in the coaching staff. In other words, yes, you changed defensive coordinator, but you got Shannon Dawson back for the 3rd year. And I think that matters in college football, to have some level of consistency among your coordinators and your assistant coaches. When there's too much turnover, there's too much chaos. And, the guys who left the program through the portal are not guys that were superstars. They're all, easily replaceable, didn't really produce type of guys. And so for those reasons, that's why things are trending in the right direction.
All right. Good shit. Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. What else is on the Athletic and on deck?
Yeah, I'm going to do the SEC breakdown, top 25 players. Everybody's been asking me about that one because they want to see who the real contenders are in that conference. And so, you can read the ACC one. It just came out this morning. I got my top 25 list plus 10 other guys to watch. Only 3 Hurricanes on the list in terms of proven guys to me heading into the season. But I think by season's end, we'll see some more among the top 25, 35 players in the league.
Good shit. All right. Thank you, my brother. Appreciate you as always. And don't forget to visit our friends at BigCheeseMiami.com. And don't forget to mention our name. Tell them that you heard it on the Big O Show. Hey, listen, they've been there for over 40 years. Pasta shipped in from Italy, cooked fresh daily. Those garlic rolls are to die for. So go check it out. 305-662-6855. They've got the party platters also. So if you want to have the party brought to you, then they can do that also at BigCheeseMiami.com, 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue. And the walls are loaded with Hurricanes memories of the last 40 years. It's really like a little Hall of Fame. You're really going to love it, man. And it's an institution. BigCheeseMiami.com. Be good, Manny.
You too, brother. Take care.
You've been listening to the Big Cheese Miami Recruiting and NIL Report with Manny Navarro. At the Big Cheese Miami, they continue to purchase the same high-quality ingredients that the most expensive Italian restaurants use. The difference is they serve large portions at a family price. Visit the Big Cheese at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue in Miami. Call 305-662-6855 or go to thebigcheesemiami.com. Go Canes!
This is the Big O Show. This is the